Okay. Okay. Now come to the point. So in this second period, we will try to understand the coding. Okay. So in the coding, I am going to explain constructor. I was briefing in the first period, somewhat theory like what you know. So constructor of datagram socket. So within this, if I put any like this port number and address, these two parameter, it means this datagram socket creates a socket, okay, and that will be bind with the port number and IP address. Okay, that is one important point here. Datagram socket. Datagram socket. Okay. Now the constructor of we will try to datagram packet. Okay. Here we will try to understand constructor of what? Datagram packet. Constructor must have the suffix it with the brackets. So now this is the constructor. So this constructor, what it does. So now let us try. So what is the syntax of the constructor? What is the syntax of the constructor? Within this constructor, suppose if I pass the in this packet like this, try to understand. PYT byte. Byte means what? It is a type of data. After that, square brackets. So these square brackets indicate the array. After that, array has a name. Suppose any name. If you keep ARR, XYZ, okay, XYZ. This indicates that array. In our main method also, this is string array. This array is what? String type of array. Array name is equal to arguments. Here you can keep your my name. Doesn't mean anything you can keep here. But that array has a name. Okay. So no issue. Same here. This array, it is byte type of data, and it array name is equal to ARR. So if one parameter I have passed, like na, here, where is that constructor of datagram socket? This is the datagram socket constructor. Within this, if what can we pass as parameters? We can pass the port numbers, IP addresses. Okay, same in packet, datagram packet constructor, we can pass the parameters as like byte array. Okay, it is array type of byte array type. Okay, now within this we need to pass some length. Okay, length is what? Integer type of data, some parameters. No? So whenever we write the coding, we need to understand. Okay, next, address. INET address. We accept this one. Okay. Now and then we need to give one more, that is port number. We need to give what? Port number. Port number is int port. These parameters we need to pass in the datagram packet constructor. So now we will go to write the code, and after that we will try to understand. Okay. So theoretically, if we stick on that theory, so it will be somewhat bore. Okay. Now this datagram packet, it creates the, where is that constructor? That is what it creates the datagrams. Okay. So now come here. I am writing the code like here. First of all, this is what my main class. Okay. The main class name, you change this name as it is not suitable for our topic. So what is our topic? You change the name here, rename. What is the class? Today's class is what? Circuit programming. Na? So you change this class name as what? Okay. Now come here. So as I told you that I want to change this class name as what? Change its name as per our class. That is what? Socket programming. Na? Socket programming for connectionless socket programming. Na? Connectionless. This is our class name. So now what happened? Your file name equal to socket connectionless.java. So it is looking somewhat lengthy, na? So you rechange it, change it. Remove this socket connectionless.java. Okay, that is enough. Huh? Now, if the class name is file name is called connectionless.java, your class name must be connectionless. Okay, always your class name that equal to must be equal to your file name, connectionless. Okay, now this is your main class. Yeah, I told you that many times, main class never be changed. Main class name. This is the main method. Main class name you can change. I have changed main class name as this. This is class identifier. Access identifier specifier is public, means this class is visible to, this class can be accessed in another classes also. And that method, this is the main method name can't be changed. Okay. If any exceptions occur, so main method handles that exceptions. I told you that exceptions are errors. Okay. So main method will handle the exceptions. Okay. So main method is public. Public means this method can be accessed outside of the class. This is a static method. No need to create the object for this main method. This is a, so we can simply access this main method as a class method. So that's why static. Void means it will not return any data type. So this is the default statement. If you want to keep it, otherwise delete it. Now we are going to write the coding for what? Connectionless socket programming. Okay. Okay. Now come down here. First, whenever your file is loaded, once your file is loaded, so two parameters will default. These, they will come as default. This is what, one class and one main method. After that, whatever the statements you want to write. If you will not find these two statements, here they will be loaded by default whenever your file is loaded. This is connectionless.java source file. Na? So whenever source file is loaded, these two statements we will get default. If there is, you will not get these two statements, you need to write them. Okay. That moment, if you want to keep the throws exception, it is up to you whether you want to keep it otherwise. But normally, if you write this, no, so if any error occurs, so main method handles that. Okay. So after that, whatever the code we need to write, that is to be kept in try and catch blocks. Okay. Try. So now I'm writing the code like this. Try to understand. So everything I want to keep this as try and catch blocks. Okay. Open brace. Okay, next after close brace. Now within the try block, I want to write, already I have written this much of code to brief you whenever I was briefing about the constructor of datagram socket. So for that, I have written this much code. I told you that this is the constructor of the datagram socket. One line I have written. Now after that, try to understand. Okay. Connectionless. This is for connectionless class. Okay, no issue. Actually, if we write it as a data sender, otherwise, okay, it is okay, connectionless. Leave it that as it is. No, don't be confused yourself. Now, after that, create a string. We will create a string. That is what string. That string variable is equal to. It is a variable I have created. That is a string type of. So within this, I have kept a. That is what string type of data. Na? So keep anything. Welcome to welcome to my welcome to my free online Zoom classes. This is the text. Welcome to my free program online Zoom classes. Free online Zoom classes for over Python, comma Java. So C, C++, no need to write what, okay? After that, you terminate this one. You need to terminate. Why do you need to terminate? Every sentence will be terminated in Java with a semicolon. So one string is created. This is a variable. It holds this string type of data. In Java, always string type of data must be kept in double quotation marks. Okay, no in a single quotation mark. If you keep single quotation marks, only characters will be represented. But in Python, you can keep the data, string type of data in both single and double quotation marks. It doesn't matter, okay? So next line of code, I told you that inet address. Once you write, it will give this IDE, integrated development, and it will help us inet address. Inet address is equal to. So for this, I need to create a variable, reference variable. Okay, right now here, this is a class. Inet address is a class. So if you keep the mouse here, this inet address is a class of .NET package. Okay. For this class, this is what simply you say it as a object. Okay, IP is equal to what? Otherwise, sometimes you can simply say that it is what? Reference variable. But here I will refer this as an object for this class. Okay. Now here, so normally why I used both the object and the reference variable here. Suppose if I use the new keyword here, so that moment simply you can say that object is being created. That moment I need to refer this as an object. But if I don't want to write any new keyword, so I can call it as what? Reference variable. Okay. Now this is same inet address. Okay, same. This is what again class name again. Okay. After that, this is a method. Try to understand. I will explain what is the meaning of this method. Okay. The method always having what? Brackets. Then after terminate. Now try to understand this. It is giving error because here we need to pass a string. This method always requesting a string. So once now, whenever you want to become a programmer, so if you are writing in the computer, no laptop, so if you download some IDs like Visual Studio Code, otherwise some JetBrains, IntelliJ idea, so they will help you a lot. They will brief you. So why it is giving error? Because if you keep your mouse here, we need to pass a string here. This method get by name method. What is the meaning of this get by name? So in the type, inet address is not applicable for the arguments. Here we need to pass the address as a string. That is what IP address, because this inet address class, it will represent for the IP addresses. Okay. So here I need to pass as a string IP address in double quotation marks 127.0.0.1. Okay. It is okay now? So now there is no any error. Otherwise, if I remove this one, you will get the error. That's why it's giving. So this, if you keep this mouse over this, you will get simply. So what about this method? So this method, this is the method of, it is a static method. This is a what? Static method. Why I'm stating static method? Simply, you can simply understand. In the previous classes, many times I told you that if any method that is being accessed with the class name, simply you can say it as a class method. Because no, here try to understand that this method dot get by name. So this method is method of what? Inet address is a class. You are accessing this method with the class name. So you can simply state class static method, otherwise class method. Okay, simply class method. Understand that? So now this method dot get by name, it is a method of inet address. It is a class of your this .NET package. So that method is being accessed by as a static method without creating the object, simply with the class name. So here I need to pass the string as an IP address. Get my point or not? This method get by, what is the role of this get by name? it it will provide the IP address. It resolves the IP address. It resolves the IP address. Okay. So now try to understand. Next point. So as I told you that here simply you can call it as an not object. It is a reference variable. Try to understand what is reference variable. We need to put somewhat focus because some students, they have asked, sir, what is the difference between reference variable and object? They are confusing. So that's why I need to put some focus over this. Try to understand. Reference variable, mostly reference variable. They are called pointers in Java. Sorry, that is what your C. They're called pointers. Reference variable. I'm mentioning here pointers in C. Try to understand. Okay, C language. Yeah. So reference variable, this word will be used in Java. Try to understand what is the difference between reference variable and object. What is that? Whenever for any class, so class and objects, they are part of OOPS concepts, object-oriented programming concepts. That separately I have conducted a class, and that data kept in OOPS concepts. You can refer from there. Lengthy class I have conducted over the class and objects and attributes. Okay. Instance variable, class variables, so many confusing words. I tried to clarify there. However, I want to put some word, 2 lines I will clarify here. Reference variable, whenever object is created for a class, only one class may have many objects. A simple example I want to give, in a college, you are studying in engineering college. So one class is there. That is what CSE, Computer Science Engineering class. Okay. within that class, how many objects are there? Rahul is an object, Suman is an object, Vasu is an object, this Lokesh is an object. So many, these are, that class consists of student objects. Student is a class, yes, CSE is in class. Class has many objects, physical objects. So understand? So whenever class is created, na, so that moment for that class, whenever you want to create that object for that class, okay, so along with the object, constructor will be created to update the, initialize the attributes of this that object. Means no, so suppose Lokesh is an object of a student class, so that Lokesh has somewhat parameters, no? Attributes, parameters, fields, somewhat. Don't worry, all are some same. So that Lokesh has some attributes like what, height, weight, color. These are attributes, object attributes. Same, one more student, Rajesh is. So Rajesh may have differ in its attributes. May Rajesh have some height, weight, differ. So object, every object to object attributes will be changed. So whenever object is created, that object will be created in where heap memory. Heap memory, that is part of your RAM, where it is created in RAM, random access memory, created. And its object reference means its memory address will be stored in stack memory. Stack memory, in stack memory holds the memory address of somewhere. If I will do that spelling mistake, don't confuse you. If I miss one s here, don't worry about that. Okay, so the stack memory holds the memory address of the object. Okay, heap memory holds the object created stored in heap memory, and stack memory holds the memory address of that object. Memory address. Okay, so this stack memory and heap memory both will be created in RAM, random access memory. Now I hope that you understand that what is the rule of stack memory. Stack memory holds that memory address of an object in reference variable, in a variable, reference variable. Okay, that reference variable, it is a variable, that is a variable. It holds the memory address of that object created in heap memory. HEAP, sorry. Okay, so heap memory. Okay, so object created heap memory, that object's memory location, memory address stored in stack memory by within a reference variable. That reference variable, it is a variable, it refers the memory address of, physical address of. Okay, memory has so many addresses, no? We have studied in, that is what memory, while we are studying about that memory address bus, data bus. Okay, so with this reference variable holds the memory address of the object. Okay, so I think it is enough. Okay, I don't want to waste the time here. So now here, try to understand what happened here. This much of code I have written. So after that, so within 2 or 3 lines, we will close 9, 10. Within 10 minutes, I will finish this code for this sender. One side, that is the server side, and Saturday we will discuss with the receiver side, connectionless circuit programming for receiver side. Okay. So now, okay, now come next topic. Now here, one more line, 3 lines of code I have written. Next is what? I told you that two classes will be used here, datagram socket. So one more class, I want to use here datagram package. Datagram package. Already it is helping us. So this is the constructor. Many times I told you that the constructor within this. Okay, now here, try to understand. Now, I will explain why it is giving error. Simply, I told you that we need to pass some parameters here. So the constructor datagram Datagram packet is a class that is part of your .NET package, but this constructor undefined. See, if you keep this, the constructor datagram packet is undefined. I told you that is the constructor. It is undefined. Undefined means you need to put some word parameters. Okay. So normally I can always I write here this is a constructor for your reference many times because every line I want to explain. That is my style of teaching. Every word I want to explain. If I missed anything, no, if because due to classes, whenever maybe I forget anything to brief every line. Normally, I will try to brief every line of this, okay, and I try to write the comments. If I miss anything, you can ask me. That is not a problem. So, if why it is giving error, because what happened? Okay. So it is giving error because this constructor, it is undefined. We need to pass some parameters here. So whenever I was discussing about this constructor at the initial C here, where the datagram constructor, datagram packet constructor. This is datagram packet constructor. Here what we need to pass? We need to pass, let us see, somewhat syntax I have given here. Okay. I have given this. You come here. So where is that construct datagram packet? This is the constructor here, array created and length. What is the length of that array? Address, IP address, after that port number. So these parameters we have passed it in the constructor. So same thing we will follow here, parameters, which type of parameters I will pass here, try to understand here. Now here, this packet, so it will confuse us. So because you put this as DP. DP is what? Simply short for datagram packet. DS for datagram socket. You can keep anything you for the object. You can keep your name, my name, XYZ. No issue. Anything you can keep object name. So within this, I want to pass where is string is created. So this string. So this string that is to be, we need to put some size for that string. Okay, string need to be declared. So string dot, if you put the dot operator, so I told you that string is what? It is non-primitive data type. So whenever I have briefed for this, you refer my data types. I have created one video. Data types, thoroughly I have briefed over primitive data type, non-primitive data type. So why string is a part of non-primitive data type? Because string has the methods. Whenever you keep the dot operator, so the dot operator, if you keep, so you will get all the methods which are related with the string. That's why string is non-primitive data. So now here, I want to use this method, get bytes. Okay. So method means it must have the brackets. That is very compulsory. So it is to be defined, this method that is to be defined. After that, one more parameter here I want to put here, that is what? String. That string word length. One more, see, this length method I want to use here. After that, port number and IP address. Same thing now we have studied here. See where where is the datagram packet? This constructor. Whenever I was discussing with the constructor, so this length, int, address, after that port number, or int port. Okay. So same parameters I am passing here. Here, IP. IP is what? IP address. Okay. Next word, int, comma, port. Why int, comma, port? Port is what? We need to pass int as a port as a integer. Okay. These parameters I have passed here. After that, why I'm getting error, try to understand. Open brace, close brace. But due to these methods, we need to put one more bracket here. Okay, now come down here. This is okay. Datagram packet. For this datagram packet class, object created. This the constructor. Within this constructor, I have put some parameters. Okay. I will explain each and everything, what it does. Okay, the code I will explain. Huh? So next. So this is okay. Okay. Here we will pass the port number. That's why it's giving error. Why? Because if I put port cannot be resolved to a variable. So we need to put the value here. Okay. That's why it's giving error. Port number. So we have studied that 1 to 65,535 ports. So apart from that, whichever dedicated ports for HTTPS one port is there, SMPT, that is what simple mail transfer protocol is a protocol. DHCP is another protocol for a separate port number. DNS has separate port number. Every protocol has separate port number. Okay. So port number I have passed here. Now come down here. I want to use that now ds dot send. If I put ds dot, I will get what all that methods of that ds datagram socket class that has a method. That method is send method. That send method, try to understand. Datagram socket, this socket has a method, that send method. That method is being accessed by object. So now here, this method can't be called as a class method. Why? Because this send method, it is the method of datagram socket class. Datagram, how this method is being accessed with the objects. Now we can say that this class, this method as a object method. Otherwise, public method. Many times I have explained all the things in the previous classes. Okay. Why? Because you are accessing this method, send method. This is the method of datagram socket class. For that, I have created the object here. Where is that? This is the DS, the datagram socket object. By the object, I want to access this method. Here, I have mentioned where static method. Why? This dot get by name. It is a method, static method. The static method of whom? This class, inet address class. It is a class of what? Your input, sorry, that .NET package. So initially I have imported .NET package. Now from this star, that's why I have used it. I want to use all the classes, whichever I need. Here, datagram socket class I have used, and inet address. This is a one more class I have used of this package. And this datagram packet, this is one more class. Here I want to use the send method of this datagram packet class, that is object method. That's why I created object. Okay. So this is the much code I have written. Now here, after that, ds dot close. ds dot close. ds is what? Object. Okay. After that, termination. Now it is the time to understand every line, because see how much is time? 10 minutes. Now. Within minute, I will explain why it is giving error. After every try block, we need to finish with the catch block. Catch block. Catch block. Within this catch block, try to it is helping us. This is the code we need to must have. After that, one close brace, open brace, and close brace. And these two, for one is for the main method and one is for your main class. Now this catch block is closed. Here, if you want to keep any printout statement, you system dot out dot println. Okay, any exception you want to see as E, println system dot out dot println. That IE must be in brackets. That's why it's giving error after the termination. Okay. Now this much code I have written. So now try block, the total code kept under try block and try block closed, a catch block to handle the exceptions. Whatever the exceptions we will get, that they will be stored in this variable E. E stands for exception. It is in a variable. It holds the errors. Errors are exceptions as an objects. Okay, that will be, if you want to display, you want to get by this printout statement, you will get whatever the exceptions. So many exceptions are there in Java: index out of bound exception, arithmetic exception, so input output exception. So that is part of exception handling. Yeah? So now try here. This is what your, if you comment here, this is for sender. You can please say that sender. This code I have written for what? Sender. Connectionless socket programming for sender. So whenever sender is sending, na, so sender is sending, so one socket to be created. Now I will explain, I will take 10 minutes to brief this total code, whatever I have written. You need to try to understand. So from sender side, socket to be created first. After that, that within that socket, socket will be created. After that, by datagram packet, a packet will be created. Within that packet, information will be there, some port number, IP address. Okay, now they will be put in where datagrams socket object. Okay, why? If we don't want to keep them all there, so they need to be wrapped. They need to be wrapped here. See how it is wrapped here. Try to understand. By this send method, of datagram socket, this socket, datagram socket has created a socket. After that, the packet created within that, I told you the datagram packet, that is what a data container. That container is having what? How much of length of the data, how many bytes are there, and what is the IP address and port number. Okay. So everything I passed and the total is kept. That object kept here, that object passed as a parameter for this send method of datagram socket class. So pocket is created. The pocket has this much of information. Now this information is put in this send method of datagram socket class. So now that total, now datagram packet is created. Now that will be sent. That will be sent. Now let us try to understand initially what happened here. So this class, datagram socket class object created. I told you that datagram socket class will be used to create the socket between the devices. Okay. Once socket is created, so that socket constructor, nothing I have passed here, but here one string I have created. Which string I want to send? This is my string. Okay, this is this much of string. I want to send that string. Okay, this IP address here 127.0.0.1. It is called loopback address. Loopback address used in computers to check back your connectivity, whether your computer is functioning properly. Okay, if you use here, if you clears the scheme, so if you ping, if you want to ping your computer, ping stands for packet internet gopher. Okay, 127.0.0.0.1. Sorry, take that 0.1. If you, okay. So what do you mean of this? If you run this IP address 127.0.0.1, it is loopback address. So what it states that ping is a command used for to check back the connectivity between devices. Here I have used this IP address. So this is loopback address to loop back my computer. So from computer software to port number. Port, where is that? Physical port. The physical port has in computers for the connectivity, either the Ethernet port, otherwise Wi-Fi port, wireless port. Okay, so that these four packets, how many packets will be sent? See, sent four packets, packets. Okay, received four packets. Loss 0. There is no any loss. Time has taken milliseconds. Okay, how much of millisecond? So how much of time? Time to live 128 milliseconds. These packets will be in the way. So if 128, if within 128 milliseconds, these packets will be reached to the port and come back to the again software. So that is what software means. The total this your hardware, it is part of it is this hardware that is being run by a software, na? So Windows OS, that is operating system. So that is a system software. Okay. So packets will be sent to port, and from port to back. So whenever you will get that's why it's called loop back address to check back your connectivity. Okay. After that, if you want to go next port, your layer to switch, there is a port. If you want to reach to there, otherwise, if you want to reach to that gateway port of your router, default gateway, somewhat port number gateway, gateway has router has two ports. One is that WAN side port, LAN side port. LAN side port means your layer to switch will be connected. So layer to switch has the 16 port layer to switch. So 16 clients computers are connected. So every computer connected on separate every port separate port on the layer to switch. So that port number will be configured separately. So it has every port of layer to switch has separate MAC address where it is configured with separate, okay, and the router WAN side separate IP, it has separate IP. So whenever you study about all these things in computer that is networking, you need to study very deeply if really you want to become a good programmer. So I bless all of you that for your bright future and career, and don't waste your time. Time is very precious, my dear students. Keep yourself engaged always in the programming. Read and read, read and read. After that, do the code practicing, and don't waste your time. So if you really want to become good programmer, you want to get more and more lakhs and lakhs of money in software engineering, especially in coding. Okay, don't become a service side software engineer. Service side software engineer, you will be offered with a little bit 20,000, 15,000, hardly 30,000 service based companies. Try to become a product based companies and be an efficient programmer. Then surely you will be awarded with highly remuneration, lakhs and lakhs per month of 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs. So 85 lakhs package for annum, 85 lakhs. After the tax deductions, whatever, if you are getting 80 lakhs, 20 lakhs tax deduction, your expenses, at least yearly 60 lakhs you can spare yourself. But you need to keep hard efforts. You really want to become a good programming is very easy, my dear students. Yeah, if you are feeling that, no problem. Some students are requesting me, sir, really myself, I'm not able to write the code, stucking somewhere else. Uh, that moment I'm not getting stucking. It is not your problem. It is me. Everybody problem in programming. Nobody is perfect. Everybody will get the problems stuck. After that, you need to refer you first of all, you must have the knowledge, theoretical knowledge. Na? You need to be understand minute points. Then you can be a good programmer. So after that, if you are getting stucking, you can refer the material. Don't worry. Okay, now I don't want to waste time here, which is almost 21:30. So within 2 or 3 minutes, I want to focus here, try to understand what. Here, what happened? This datagram socket user object created here, but here inet address IP, this is not object. Simply from my side, it is a reference variable because I know any new keyword he is used here. This get by name that is being accessed as a static method. Okay, understand why I need to create this. Okay, because this IP has passed here. See where I have passed in this whenever that packet is created. Na? So within this packet, I have passed. So IP. So means IP I have passed here as a parameter, as a string here. So I have, whenever packet is created, that moment, all that information, string is created, string has this much of string type of data. That string by this get method, string dot get bytes method, what it does, okay. So this will, that string will be converted into sequence of bytes. Okay. So this get bytes method converts this total string into what? Encode means conversion. This string into sequence of bytes. Okay. For everything, no, you can, if you put your mouse, no, you will get that what. Okay, 10 minutes is there. Okay, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We will discuss about the code. Okay, 10 minutes. I will discuss. So here, try to understand. Okay. So within the 10 minutes. So one is that your socket is created. Okay. And within the now socket, one string is created. Okay. IP address. This IP address, this method by this method, get by name method. Okay. IP address will be, we can pass the IP address as a string. Can pass the IP address as a string. Okay. Now that IP address referred with the reference variable. So whenever this address can be called with this reference variable, here I can simply put IP, okay, as a reference variable. Means this reference variable will be used to refer this IP address. Okay, but this IP address will be get by this get by name, but get by name. Okay, but this get by name resolves the IP addresses from the host addresses. Like what you know, suppose if you have the host name as what, try to understand. Suppose your host name like okay, www dot google.com. Google.com. So by this address, host name, we can get the IP address. How we will get the IP address, try to understand. Okay, let us try. Where is that? Okay, this is what. Okay. How can I use this? You copy this one. Copy. Okay, you put this here. Paste. Now here, get by name, you pass the, that is what, that string. That string www.google.com. Copy. If I pass here, then what happened? Whether I will get, okay, what it is giving error? Duplicate local variable. So you change this as IP1, no issue. Why it is giving error? The value of the local variable IP1 is not used. Okay. Okay, no issue.